Wow. Let's see. I want to do this the very best. This is going on. Let's see. And we have that. Yes. Then I want to do this. And then I go away. And then we do that one. Okay. It's time for more predictions. P1. Which new F1 drivers will join the grid in 2025? So F1 did their prediction yesterday. And today P1. And the F1 prediction was, I would say, really bad. I mean, my prediction with Mick Schumacher. I'm not this. I could say, okay, sure, this is copium maybe, but they have like it was copium like in almost every team, except Ferrari because the change have already happened. Renault didn't have any change, or McLaren. Everyone else had some copium. So let's see if P1 do also do some copium.
Which new drivers will join the grid in 2025?
Which driver? After the race in Saudi Arabia, I would say Oliver Bammer is really likely to join the grid. I mean, of course, I'm hoping for Mick Schumacher, but if I would choose someone else, it will be Vasti. Oh, Liam Lawson also. Oliver Bammer, I feel like more, and then Lawson. But let's see.
Yeah, it's time to talk about how much the grid is going to change with new talent for next year.
A lot has changed with Hamilton moving in, and we're sort of...
Wait, let's see. I was thinking it was something weird. Man, we need to start over.
Which new drivers will join the grid in 2025? Yeah, it's time to talk about how much the grid is going to change with...
But I also hope it Porsche. I don't think for 2025, but probably 2026 if he is lucky. And Drugovich is I also hoping so. Stroll, please go away. Bottas, you can also go away. I mean, Magnusson will go away 2025. And I mean, Hülkenberg, come on. Stop staying in this sport. Go away also. Let the young people come in.
New talent for next year.
A lot has changed with Hamilton moving in, and we're sort of waiting for that second piece of the puzzle to move, because Hamilton going to Ferrari, of course, leaves the Mercedes seat open, and until that seat is filled, I don't think anyone's going to commit to what they're doing, and then everything will fall into place. So hopefully that will also mean new talent.
And not just shuffling.
We need new talent in Formula One. I think the last race showed that, because it made it exciting.
How we're going to grade this is essentially, out of 10, how likely we think each driver that we've selected in this list will get chosen to drive in 2025. 10 being, it's set in stone. 0 being, no hope in hell. So let's begin with Ollie Behrman, the man of the moment, the
Should maybe be 20, but
current Ferrari and Haas reserve. We, of course, know from his debut out in Saudi Arabia, where he had an amazing race, finishing P7 for Ferrari, and also was P6 in his debut Formula 2 year last year with 4 wins. How likely will he join the grid? I am going to go for an
Highly
8
likely.
out of 10.
8?
I think Ollie
Why 8?
Behrman has shown some very,
I mean,
very
Kevin Magnussen,
big
come
potential that he could be
It's
on the grid
100%
and is
the time.
ready to be on the grid for 2025. I think it depends a little bit on whether K-Mag manages to do 22 more trains and actually wins
will
Hulkenberg
not.
the championship through that. I don't want to say any higher than 8 just purely because you never know in Formula 1, but I do think that Ollie
You do know. Stop acting.
has shown, not just with that, but also with
I
his
mean, it isn't like you never know. Who knows? Nick De Vries will get the F1 seat. No. You know. That's why you say 8. You most likely think he will get the seat. So you do know.
his Haas practice sessions that he's done. I think he'll continue to impress and be on the radar of some team, and Haas makes the perfect sense, I think, to go for in 2025.
Yeah, I've gone for a 7 out of 10. I think it,
7.
of course, be Haas if it does happen.
Man, Kevin Magnussen
It just
is washed.
depends,
Come on.
like you mentioned, on K-Mag and whether his performances pick up. If he continues doing a good job and not being way off Hulkenberg,
Good job. He started bad. He's always bad. So no,
and
that will not
delivers good performances, then Haas maybe think, oh, well, we'll stick with the experience because we're going to be getting
happen. Kevin Magnussen doesn't have that experience.
points. Maybe they're scarred by the Schumacher and Mazepin season where they
I mean, Mick Schumacher did some really good qualifying against Magnussen.
caused millions of pounds worth of damage, and they thought, let's never put a rookie in again.
Zane Maloney is up next, the current South.
Zane Maloney, who's that?
If you're a small YouTuber with less
Oh,
than
shit.
1,000 subscribers, do not skip this ad. I want to show you something that can help you get more views and make more YouTube money than one of those here in my rented Lamborghini Guru guys.
I
You know
wonder-
the ones. VidIQ
Because I let this ad keep going. I wonder how much money I've wasted for him.
is the world's #1 AI tool
Because
for
I played
YouTubers that
Cthulhu.
helps with channel growth and optimization. vidIQ helps you track your video's performance, brainstorm
Wow.
ideas, generate content
Nice.
faster, identify trends,
True.
spy on competitors, and so much more. You can click the link in this ad to sign up for just $1 and start using
Just
vidIQ
for
to grow your
$1?
YouTube channel. Side effects of using vidIQ may include a crap ton of new views and subscribers, jealous
Yeah,
friends,
true.
an inbox full of really bad fan art, and confused family members who don't understand how you're making
Man,
so much money
this
posting
scam
stupid videos
ad
on the internet.
is
Click the
so
link and try
fucking bad.
vidIQ for just $1 today.
Yeah, true. Being retarded? Question mark.
Vi har gömt en blåval här någonstans.
Oh shit!
Albert Reserve, or Kick, or whatever you want to call him, who has had an amazing start to the year in Formula 2, leading the title. He won the first 2 races in Bahrain, and he was also the runner-up in Formula 3 in 2022. How likely do I think this is going to happen? 2 out of 10. I think unless Zane Maloney ends up winning every single race from here on in to the end of the Formula 2 season and does one of the most dominant displays ever, I just can't see it happening, at least for 2025. If he wins the Formula 2 championship, you can bet your bottom dollar he will be sat on that pit wall as Formula 2 champion, not being able to race in Formula 2 anymore, but not having a seat in Formula 1. Not, any disrespect to him, but there are other drivers waiting in the wings that I think will be chosen before him if there is that selection open.
I've also gone for a 2 out of 10. I think the biggest problem here for him is a certain Teo Porcher, who is also waiting in the wings at Sauber.
Spoiler
And
alert for the next
spoiler alert
driver.
for the next driver.
Wow.
Even if he has
yeah,
a
we
great
have him.
year and Zhou Guanyu's performance drops off, or Bottas decides that, you know what, I do just want to make calendars or whatever.
Which was great, by the way.
Which
it was
was
all for
great, of
charity
course,
and it was
it
a
was.
fantastic cause.
Yeah, I'm only bantering. If that does happen and there is a seat free I think Teo Porcher would be like, hello, I've been sat on the pit wall. Why have you given it to Zane Maloney?
Next up is Teo Porcher, who is the current Sauber reserve driver as well. 2020 Formula 3 runner-up, 2022 Formula 2 runner-up, and Formula 2 champion last year. He's now racing in Super Formula. Tommy, hit us with your grade.
I've gone for...
I would say he's less likely for 2025, but 2026 something could happen. I mean, when Audi really want to... I feel like if they get Carlos Sainz, do they really need Bottas? Then they can maybe remove him and then put Porcher there.
For a 6 out of 10 for Teo Porcher. And this is mainly just because I feel like Sauber won't change their lineup potentially and might stick with it. There's also that talk of obviously Audi coming in. If a Carlos Sainz did go there, that already takes up one of those seats if someone drops out. So it's going to be difficult for a young driver to do that. I think with young drivers, if we ignore the Oscar Piastri situation, was a very unique situation. A lot of the time, it is a case of young drivers join an academy and then hope that they peak at the right time when a seat is available. That is just how the system works. And I worry for Teo Porcher with the shake-up that someone might want to go to Audi before they change, and who's going to vacate the 2 seats that they've got currently.
So for me, I have also gone for a 6 out of 10 for Teo Porcher. It does just feel like, you know how you've got the meme of the swimming and the kid being held up and then someone underwater. I don't know. Like, I feel like if the opportunity arises, just like you, Tommy, Porcher will probably get the call up for Sauber. But there's also part of me that,
Not
like,
for this
I
year.
just feel like he might
next year.
not get the call up just purely because of how Formula One is working at the moment. Bottas, I still think Bottas has got a few more years left if they continue.
The last race didn't show anything close to that, but okay.
With
sure.
him, and look, he's a race winner. I know he's nothing special these days and is just bantering around most of the time and just having a great time. Would they shake that up? I'm not sure. Obviously, it depends on where Carlos Sainz goes. Is Sainz really going to go to this team in 25? All these things, these moving parts, mean that I can't give any higher than a 6 out of 10 for Porcher. If anything, I feel like that maybe is even a little bit high, come to think of it. But I've locked in a 6 now, so I have to explain why.
It's also insane that they can be like 20 years old and you're like, but it is true that they're 20 years old and you're kind of like, oh, you've missed the boat a bit there. Like, how is that a thing? But it does.
Fernando Alonso, 43-year-old chap.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, chilling. We now move to Felipe
Felipe Drugovich. Let's see. I mean, as long as Roll is in Aston Martin, I believe Drugovich will not have a seat. And let's see. And it's for 2025 now. Maybe 2026 if Lance Stroll surely show that he can't and want to be better.
Drugovich, 2022 Formula 2 champion, Aston reserve driver since 2022, and also did 2023 pre-season testing with Aston after the Lance Stroll injury.
I have gone for a 1 out of 10. And that's not because I think Felipe Drugovich isn't deserving. It's because a certain someone, it's the program that he's in is Aston Martin, and there's a 42-year-old Fernando Alonso driving incredibly well and has finally got a good car underneath him, and Lance Stroll, who will never leave that seat.
Well, he will one day leave the seat. The question is when.
Difficulty for Drugovich is that he, and even more than Porcher, it's two years ago that by the end of the season, it'd be 2 years since he won the Formula 2 championship, and he won it in spectacular fashion. He dominated it. It was sensational, and I think he did deserve a chance, but sadly
he's in the wrong
he hasn't.
academy.
And he's in the wrong academy at the wrong time. No ill will on Stroll, but I'd love to have seen, just out of curiosity, how he'd have done in that first race in Bahrain. But Stroll came back, did a great job, to be fair. So yeah, I've gone for a 1 out of 10. I just can't see it happening for him.
I've gone for a 2 out of 10 for Felipe Drugovich because my mind is racing right now. Fernando Alonso is obviously going to Mercedes in 2025, so it's going to relinquish that seat. Oh,
He will not. Alonso will not go to Mercedes. Why go to a good team to a bad team?
open it up. But would Aston Martin then sign Drugovich, and then you have Drugovich and Stroll, a rookie, and then Stroll who
Yeah.
just, you know what I mean? I know that obviously the Fernando
Stroll's
Alonso
an
thing is not set
experienced
on.
driver, but he doesn't feel like it.
Exactly.
That would be so funny. Drugovich out qualifying and gets more points than Stroll in his first year.
But I feel like Flavio Briatore and Toto Wolff having a coffee the other day as well that was pictured and has been circulating around. So that seat might be opening up. I tell you that. Honestly, I might have absolutely chefed it up right now if Alonso does go to Mercedes in 25. But then what does
Would
then
it be
Aston do?
Drugovich? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, would they sign like Carlos Sainz or something?
Yeah, I think they would. They've shown that Stroll. I think Lawrence has shown that he wants to put very competitive drivers against Lance.
Look, I think Felipe Drugovich, just like you, Tommy, is an incredibly talented driver, but he's with the wrong team because there's only one movable.
He's in the wrong team. Every team can be wrong. Renault, McLaren, Red Bull, Sauber, Williams, Haas, Mercedes.
Jack Doohan is next, current Alpine reserve driver,
No.
runner-up in Formula 3 Championship in 2021,
nothing
and
close.
third in Formula 2 in 2023. How likely will he be on the grid? I am going to go for a 0 out of 10 for Jack Doohan. No disrespect to him, but I think there are better drivers waiting in the wings at other teams that could potentially, go, no, I'm done with this driver academy. I'm going to go to another team that's got a seat available. Jack doesn't have, when you look at the other drivers, the best CV going either. He's an Alpine reserve driver, but you've got Ocon and Gasly, who might both just rip up their contracts at the end of the year because they're driving a dustbin. But if they don't,
Oh wait, who?
because they're driving, you've got
No,
Ocon and
Alpine.
Gasly, who might both just rip up their.
Would they? And if they did, where would they go? AlphaTauri will not be any. Williams. Maybe Gasly goes to Williams and Ocon goes to Mercedes. And then can Mick Schumacher go to Renault? That would be something. And Ricciardo.
Their contracts at the end of the year because they're driving a dustbin. But if they don't, I don't think they're going to go anywhere. So where does Jack Doohan go? I don't see it personally. So sorry, Jack.
Me neither. I've gone for a 0 out of 10 as well. Look, he's finished third in Formula 2 2023, like you say, and he's not in Formula 2 at the moment. That's going to struggle because at least the drivers that aren't in Formula 2 have won it, so they've got credit in the bank, like we say.
True.
And he's also got a big problem that he is an Alpine
Except the West, he didn't win it, but he was close to.
reserve driver, and we know for whatever reason they don't like to put their
No! Go away, Ed.
their junior academy in the car. We've kind of roasted them in the past for being this team that aren't willing to take a punt on a young driver, to the point where it took Alonso to shun them for them to be like, oh, go on, Piastri, you have got the seat, without even telling him, because he'd already signed a contract to McLaren. So no offense to Jack Doohan, but he's not been on Piastri's level. I just really don't see it happening for him, sadly.
Let's move to Andrea Kimi Antonelli.
Here we have him. And I don't think for 2025. I think he will maybe do somewhat good year at F2, but I don't think good enough, so he will be staying in F2. So what they want is either Vasti or Mick Schumacher in Mercedes.
Who is a Mercedes Junior, Italian Formula 4 champion, ADAC Formula 4 champion, Formula Regional Middle East champion, Formula Regional European champion, rookie in Formula 2 this year, and massively hyped up by Toto Wolff, just 17 years of age. And my grade for Kimi Antonelli is 10 out of 10. Signed, sealed, delivered. Goodbye, Logan Sargent. Hello, Andrea Kimi Antonelli. I don't see him going to the Mercedes seat straight away. I think it would be silly for Toto Wolff to sign him. I know they're trying to make a big noise now that Hamilton's left, but that's not the noise I think you want to make personally. Give him a year in Williams and then promote him in 26, in my opinion. But I do think he's going to Williams.
Yeah, I've gone for an 8 out of 10. There's hype around him. I know a lot of people are jumping on it saying he's too
Not for 2025. Come on now.
overhyped. And I do
I don't think the Ricciardo will go to Williams, but he is there for now until more interesting news.
think there is a lot of pressure on him, but people in the sport know when they see a star. It happened with Max Verstappen. It happened with Lewis Hamilton. There's been no one, I don't think, since Verstappen that's had a buzz around him quite like Kimi Antonelli.
Huh? Weird that Piastri didn't have that.
I think he will deliver, and I can see, like you said, like Williams would be a great chance for him.
Final driver,
Not for
Liam
2025. Come on.
Lawson, the current Red Bull and RB reserve, replaced Ricciardo and Zandvoort, and hugely impressed in his short Formula 1 spell whilst Danny Rick was getting better. Tommy, what is your grade?
It's a 10 out of 10. I am convinced that Liam Lawson has something in his contract that says that he has to be in Formula 1 next year, or if one of the Red Bull drivers goes, because of how well he did when he stepped up. So I really can't see how he doesn't get a chance, whether that's with RB or even Red Bull. I don't think Red Bull is going to happen because Perez is doing a great job, but I think I do legitimately think that it was in his contract that he must get a seat.
Okay, I've gone for a 9 out of 10 for Liam Lawson. I'm not fully, absolutely 100% categorically convinced that there are no possibilities that he will not, that there will be something that goes wrong for Liam Lawson, especially when it is Red Bull and whatnot. And, you look at the drivers, I don't think he goes to Red Bull, no chance. But, you look at RB and you go, all right, well, if Tsunoda's doing really well, and Daniel Ricciardo is very much...
We will see how good he is.
the favourite child of Red Bull. So
Until more races have been done, then it will go down.
does he manage to convince for one more season if he does have a bad season? I don't know. But that's the only thing for me, is that they'll go, oh no, Liam, no, it's fine. You're young. We'll get you in 26. New regulations, come in then, sort of thing. I just feel like there is that tiny slither that might happen. I hope not for his sake, because he was really, really good. And he's, like we've been saying earlier, peaked at the right time. And that is that. Tommy, we have graded all of the young drivers that have the best opportunity, or the worst opportunity for some of them, waiting in the wings. What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are, please.
This I would say. Oh shit. If I feel like they will not remove Ricciardo, but they will probably make Liam Lawson be the one that get the seat in Williams. I mean, it feels so weird for Ricciardo to go from Visa Cash App or be a Formula 1 team to just Williams. It feels more natural that they make a deal with Williams to take him.
These Formula One teams give give these new drivers a chance, because I think the last race showed that we need new talent in Formula One. It makes it exciting. I don't think the fact that the grid is exactly the same has helped our sort of maybe helped an underwhelming start to the year, because there's no storyline of like, oh, how's this driver doing? How's he going to get on against his teammates? All the same. So, of course,
I mean, Yuki Tsunoda and Ricciardo. Jag menar, Ricciardo är ju half new. Yeah.
in 2025
Probably just
we've seen the shuffling of drivers
closest.
around, and because of Hamilton, and it's all going to kick off. I just hope that it's not just shuffling the pack. We also get new talent in as well.
I agree. And if it is the shuffling of the pack, then Formula One, listen up. It's time to introduce more teams, okay? Just bring them in. Stop being silly right now, okay? That's it. That's my final thought. Take care. At
Oh,
the
new teams. Like Lotus, Volvo, and Andretti and Cadillac. New beautiful teams with Jogan Joe, Dino Beganovic, Kulta Herta, and then probably Logan Sargent. There we have it. The two new teams.
Love, see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, I mean, the only rate how close they are to. Okay, so let's see. I would say they're right with Oliver Behrman. 8 and 7, I would say 10. Leon Lawson. What did let's see. Leon Lawson, where do they talk about him? There, so 10. Only 10?
Max Verstappen. It happened with Lewis Hamilton. There's been no one, I don't think, since Verstappen that's think he would.
Driver Liam Lawson, the current Red Bull and RB reserve, replaced Ricciardo and Zandvoort, and hugely impressed in his short Formula One spell whilst Danny Rick was getting better. Tommy, what is your grade?
It's a 10 out of 10. I am convinced that Liam Lawson
Okay,
has
he's
something
a
in his
10.
contract that says that he has to be in Formula One next year, or if one of the Red Bull drivers goes, because of how well he did when he stepped up. So I really can't see how he doesn't get a chance, whether that's with RB or even Red Bull. I don't think Red Bull is going to happen, because Perez is doing a great job, but I think I do legitimately think that it was in his contract that he must get a seat.
Okay, I've gone for a 9 out of 10 for Liam
9.
Lawson.
So
I'm
10
not
and 9.
fully, absolutely 100%.
So he's more likely to get a seat than Oliver Behrman. That's interesting. I would say I feel like Oliver Behrman had more. It's more likely. Okay. Who more did they talk about? Oliver Behrman, Simon Malone, no. Theo Percher. Not for 2025, but 2026 probably. Flip Drugovic. I will, as soon as Stroll goes away, I would say a seat will be open. No to Jack Doan. Antonelli, I think he will not do a great Formula 2 season, so he will be Formula 2 next year also. So yeah. So that was that. Yeah. So yeah, this I think more likely. Ricardo will still be here, and Leon Alonso will get the longest driving seat, and Oliver Bämme gets the Kevin Magnussen seat. I would want to have Yoga and Joe still in this seat than Bottas. Bottas can get removed. So yeah. But for 2025, yeah. For me, it's Bottas for still a question mark. And Mick Schumacher, I'm just hoping. So this I would say my biggest copium. Yeah. Let's see. Minecraft have a warning. I need to do a backup. Let's see. Yeah, sure.
Gillette Labs.
Oh shit, be quiet. Yeah, I wanna see what fun. And we need to go this way, yes. Let's see. Time to make a backup.
Ferrari. Let's get into Ferrari debut win.
Let's see what they have for fun.
Well, what can you say
And this is the after Saudi Arabia race. I have not seen this, so I wanted
about
to.
that? The 9th win in a row for Max
Oh, no.
Verstappen. Another Red Bull
getting
1-2
crashing.
after completing that feat last time out in Bahrain in our season opener. And
Man, stop with this stuff.
6 young and score.
Why this music?
Well, let's get into action then. How do you Grand Prix your the paddock? And welcome to your post-race show, and look at the scenes on the grid as well. Just after the podium, Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc standing atop. Charles Leclerc with his first podium of the season. Oh, it looks pretty good.
Oh,
Fun out there, doesn't it, Jack Doan? But we're having
True.
plenty of fun in here
It
now
was
that
his
the
first
firework
podium.
display has stopped, because
Jack Doan.
that was pretty much deafening, wasn't it? Jack, thank you for being on the show. Alpine reserve
What's
driver.
happening?
How are you doing, and how did you see that race?
Yeah, it was difficult race, I think, because
You didn't drop doing okay there. I set you right up
you
for that.
set me right up.
Yeah, I did.
Exactly. I didn't
You're
want to come in straight away, but thank you very much
You're
for
welcome.
clarifying that.
We need to.
Yeah, it was a difficult race, not because the strategy was wide open, because it was closed. You know, that early pit stop meant everyone went into the one stop very early. No one was really trying to extend. It was an easy stop. Proved difficult for the people who had tried to extend. Hopefully that was, I think, You had Lewis, Norris, Joe, and Hulkenberg, who were trying to extend, maybe hoping for a late safety car that never really came, potentially put them a little bit out of position. But yeah, it was super difficult to really try and make any inroads.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? And you could see the frustration for some drivers like Alex Albon stuck behind that Kevin Magnussen train. At one point, Yuki Tsunoda slipping back in the standings as well. But right at the front, the dominance from Max Verstappen, just unbelievable, wasn't it? Metronomic in the display that he put on tonight. And perfect as well, but he made it look so routine, so easy. I'm sure it's far from on a track like this, Jack.
Far from, yeah. I was only thinking, I think 2 laps to go, where they finally panned to Max for the first time in maybe 30 laps, and I was thinking what it must be like for him. I would rewatch my races after and have a look, and you could see something, but there's not really much to rewatch from him because he's just out there lap after lap. At some time, setting laps a second faster than anyone else in the field, and it's just clinical what he's doing, lap after lap. It's just perfection, like you said, and it's cool to watch. Maybe not so exciting at the moment, but it just shows how well he's performing, and especially when you have Checo, an extremely talented driver, in a car next to him that he's putting lap after lap, like I said, up to close to 1 second over.
That was an assured drive from Checo. We'll come on to that, but a great P2 to back up the Red Bull performance today. We'll come to Alpine, and in the opening laps, the formation lap, we heard an issue for Pierre Gasly, suspected gearbox. What more can you tell us, Jack?
Yeah, really, that is it. Gearbox issue, unfortunately, on the out lap. We couldn't go to 6th gear. It's very limited. Luckily, to get away from the line and at least bring the car back to the pit lane. It is unfortunate, but Pierre, the team, we're all still motivated. And he's just looking forward to Melbourne and getting more laps in the car and trying to improve and go forward.
How difficult is it at the moment for Alpine to keep their heads up with obviously Q1 exits for both drivers now on back-to-back weekends? And I know the fight is on, but I guess it's a limited fight with the car that we're currently running for Alpine.
Yeah, it's difficult for sure. Not unexpected though, so it's not like we had high hopes and oh my God, what is going on? We know what we chose to do and what we set out to do, and I think P13 today, it's definitely not where we want to be, but it is a step forward and not too bad of a result. So I think we're just keeping our heads high.
Not too bad.
Hello, welcome to Alex Albon.
Was I supposed to?
Oh my God, it could have been a point for Williams of RB.
I love that you did.
It's a cash of RB from
Jack's in
team.
full flow, but you can join us anytime, Alex. No, I love it. Hello, how are you doing, Alex? P11.
Yes.
A very frustrating position to be in, I know. Just talk us through your race, indeed the sort of train that we saw behind Kevin Magnussen, how difficult it was to try and get away from that.
It was a great race from Haas. I have to say, strategy-wise, they played it perfectly. I told Nico he better give Kevin 50% of his prize money, bonus money for P10 because he definitely played the team game there, and it was frustrating. I mean, it's weird. The Haas turned into a bit of a Williams. It's a bit of a rocket ship down the straights, and we were one of the slowest in the speed trap, so it made it quite hard for us to overtake. So very un-Williams-like for us this weekend, but frustrating because we had great pace. Finally, when we got through, we were able to show it, but no one likes P11.
No, they don't. Talk us through the moment with Kevin Magnussen as well. Obviously, he got the 10-second penalty, and we'll come on to those penalties shortly in the studio. You can see it here, Alex. Talk us through from your cockpit.
I mean, what do you say? Kevin Magnussen just ruined this race.
Honestly, it's a racing incident for me. I really don't like this corner. I don't know if you know that, Jack, but I don't know why we've designed a corner that kind of sticks out.
Yeah, the last moment sort of pivots that you can't really use.
I think some of these tracks recently, they like this kind of like awkward angle. They normally do it on corner exits, where you have to kind of like turn away from the corner to miss a wall. Baku comes to mind,
or even here, how we sort of turn 10 kinks back on itself. There's not a wall, but we've created that kink.
Exactly, and they love these little awkward kinks, and it just means it's very awkward for the car on the inside to judge the space, because you leave a good space the whole way down the straight, and then in the last minute you've got this kink that comes out you, and you get the driver on the right gets squeezed, the guy on the left doesn't judge it as well, and I'm not obviously whatever, doesn't really change too much. I had a bit of front wing damage, so we were missing a bit of
that changed something
flat, otherwise yeah.
The overtake on Tsunoda, we've got that to run as well for you to have a look at. Talk us through that one.
I honestly don't even remember it.
You don't remember it?
No.
It was a good one. It was a good one. Here we go. Super late on the brakes. Got it done.
Again, not very Williams-like.
away.
We've been good on the brakes this year. It's been the area we've been focused on the most. And actually, when I overtook him and we were side by side into turn 4, that's when I got the appreciation for Kevin's problem, because I was like, hang on a minute.
You did give him a lot of space.
I better not give him. I was like, if I do the same mistake Kevin did to me, I look like an idiot. So I'll give him a little bit more space. Yeah, it was an okay race. I think what hurts us is more obviously Nico scored a point, which is not great for the championship. We know how hard it is to score points in the midfield. When Lance had his DNF, everyone in that backfield team licked their lips. It's the time to score some points, and this time it was Nico. Hopefully next time it's us.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
true.
Australia then, let's look ahead.
Yeah.
How do you feel
Haas
this
shouldn't
Williams
get
will
any
suit
points.
that track?
Yeah, watched
You had a
it.
great opportunity
We
there
did.
last year.
We
of
were,
course.
we were very good last year. We were I think running P6 or P7 until I went a bit
I know,
adventurous.
sorry to bring it up. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I like that track. It suits me as well. Just I like them high-speed tracks. And
Wait.
let's see. Realistically, we need to drop some downforce. I think our car is a little bit draggy right now, so we need to see rear wing options, what we've
No
got in
way.
the car, and come with the car a little bit more raceable than this weekend. I think this weekend we had a
No?
we went for the optimal
Did I mind?
car, which was a little bit draggy this weekend.
Must been here.
And we kind of paid the price a bit. We realised straight away in the race how difficult it was to get to battle and to fight. So maybe go a step towards the old Williams car and a bit more fast down the straights.
We'll see. I think we're about to be mown down by Max Verstappen as a million photographers crash into our studio. Max also
stuff.
crashing in. That is the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
Yeah, we're going to
Paddock,
get Max
everybody.
in the thing.
Yeah, we should have
show.
judged him in the show.
No, here
shouldn't we?
was it.
Should have, yeah.
Thought he was V-lining it for it actually. I was
Yeah,
backing
good enough.
over there.
Can I take
Yeah.
a water?
Of course you can. Absolutely. That's what they're there for. That's for you.
Oops,
It's a lot of
love.
water, isn't it?
Take the whole. There's the whole thing. Oh, are you done? Are we out?
I imagine I was.
Yeah,
See you
sure.
later.
Alex, thank you so much. Well done. And I know P11 is not the result anyone wanted. Well, goodness me.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. Come back in.
Maybe for Alpine 11 will be a great thing.
Saudi Arabia then, we see the paddock here behind us, absolutely chock-a-block, and that firework display, we came on air about 30 seconds too late, didn't we? Because while it was deafening and you wouldn't have heard us speak and we couldn't really hear each other, it was pretty spectacular, wasn't it? And the pre-race grid as well, the show on there was something else.
Yeah, they definitely win the fireworks competition. They've taken P1 there for the year. We never know, but they definitely go above and beyond here. Yeah, I really enjoy the paddock here, the atmosphere. It's not too wide, so when it is filling in, cut off again.
Nico, hello.
Thank you so much. You as well. Pretty dry too. Not breaking
It's a
sweat.
helmet. It's a mushroom
It is?
helmet.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Always say.
Maybe you swap
Throwing around
hairdressing tips at
compliments.
the end.
Exactly.
Nico, congratulations.
Thank
a
you.
point for Haas. Brilliant teamwork as well. Talk us through
Brilliant teamwork. Yeah, sure.
that race and how hard fought that was.
For me, I was just pushing. I think it was more harder fought from Kevin. I was told, I didn't see it, but I was told that he was really sticking out his neck for me and for the team, making or holding everybody up, which obviously allowed me to open up a gap and make a pit stop window on everybody else, which, yeah, obviously comes in quite handy and, paid off at the end. We managed to get that point, which is pretty valuable these days.
It definitely is. How much does that point mean to Haas? We just heard from Alex there saying with the
Should
DNF
have
to
really
Lars,
just see that.
that 1 point was up for grabs, and it's so important
Yeah.
in the midfield, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So we have the top 5 teams, and if nobody drops out, it's the top 10 are taken, and there's no points in it. So that makes it pretty tricky for us. And when we have opportunities like today, we have to really be there and take them. So I feel happy, and just good that we managed to do that. Car also felt pretty good, especially that medium stint after the safety car. The car came alive. I was able to find a really good rhythm, and that was pretty enjoyable.
Have you spoken to Kevin at all yet? What was his take?
Yeah,
on the
after the race, quickly. Thanked him already. I'll return the favor for sure later in the year
Just
sometime.
half the bonus.
You will not have to. Kevin Magnussen will always be in the back.
Just think.
Not
Maybe
sure about
not.
that. If I return the favor, then we can.
Apart
we
from
then you're even.
being P10, 1 point. Bit of a lonely race. It just seems like that split, you know, those 30 seconds for the car ahead. It is a, you know, huge duration apart from Kevin doing, say, some good work and whatnot, and you're having that pit stop. But what was that really like, just being in there? You know, difficult, obviously, to stay potentially in the zone. You know, I know it is easy when you're there clocking laps around here, but very easy to make a small mistake around a track like this when you're just by yourself for that long.
Yeah, but I tell you, man, this track is so intense, and you're just there the whole time, because it just, you know, it really forces you to be there, to be present, because you can't allow to snooze here for one moment. This track is intense, probably maybe, you know, the most intense we have on the calendar, because the speeds are just so high, and a mistake would also be painful here. So, you know,
for sure,
you don't want that.
Don't want that. No.
Nico, we have to let you go, but thank you so much for coming on the show. Congratulations, a point for Haas, and so well fought from both drivers.
Stop lies. It was. Yeah. I mean, I hope someone makes some. I mean, I hope Perez do something more. Crash out someone and then gets a podium or something, and then I can just say, wow, that was so good of Perez. He ruined the race with someone and then get podium. So deserved.
Jack, can you sum up how important those points are? I'm actually going to stop you there because you're about to be gate crashed by another driver. We're bringing in now Oscar Piastri joins us.
Hello.
P4.
Oh, P4! Could be in a podium.
Oscar, how about that?
Yeah, it was okay. I don't think we could have done too much more. It was a frustrating 20 laps stuck behind Lewis, but yeah, I think in the end that was the...
Oh my god. Yeah. Lewis is so slow and washed. Must be painful to drive after him.
The most we could have done. Didn't quite have the pace of the cars ahead, but all in all, pretty happy with that.
Talk us through that then, and the seemingly sort of disadvantage that McLaren's had in straight line speed, even with DRS effect, it looks so difficult.
Yeah, I think we just didn't quite have enough speed. I think we also struggled in the last corner, so you put two long straights and that corner in the middle. It's not a very fun time for us, as we saw. So definitely some things to try and work on for us, but yeah, I think that was not a bad night's work.
Do you think P4 is about the maximum you could have achieved today without any further safety cars or yellow flags and so on?
Yeah, definitely.
You're talking about Leclerc doing a bad race. The fuck?
I think I had a chance to try and get past Charles, but just didn't quite have enough, unfortunately. So I think P4 is the most we could have done, but yeah, we'll keep pushing for more.
Jack?
Looking forward from Jeddah, obviously, it's a completely different track from Bahrain.
Oh,
heading to Melbourne.
Australia. Podium, hi.
Home race as well. How do you think the car is going to perform? Somewhere which was obviously better, it seemed like overall, slightly not enough to obviously challenge Ferrari and Red Bull, but how is it looking going into Melbourne, just roughly at this point in time?
I think, you know, we probably favoured ourselves here as being a very good track for us. Melbourne, there's a bit more low-speed content, which is not the best for us at the moment. So yeah, we'll see. I think we seem very, very close with Mercedes, and Ferrari and Red Bull seem a step ahead. So yeah, we'll see what we can do. When are you going to Australia?
4 a.m.
Tonight?
Tonight.
Wow, you got a holiday coming up, do you?
Yeah, 1 week at home. So what about you?
Very
When
nice.
do you
I
go to
go
Australia?
next weekend.
Next weekend.
So, yeah,
How
it'll be
much
nice.
are you looking forward to getting back home?
Yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be really nice. I kind of joke that I became an F1 driver to give myself an extra week at home every year. So yeah, it's nice to...
Probably an extra 2, no?
An extra 2, yeah. So it's, yeah, they did the calendar nicely for us this year. So yeah, it's always nice to go back home, and yeah, 10 minutes from where I grew up, it's pretty special. So I'm looking forward to going back there.
What happens between now then and when you do fly to Australia? What does this week look like?
Go back to the factory, say thank you to the team, thank you to the people who built my right rear corner yesterday, because it's very strong, it turns out. And yeah, a bit of simulator work preparing Melbourne and Japan, because yeah, obviously it probably makes sense to stay in that part of the world for those two races. So a bit of sim work and a bit of time to chill out, because it's been a busy few weeks.
We heard from Nico there, he was fighting for that final point, just how intense this track is, the concentration level, there's absolutely no let up. How was it physically for you in the car?
Yeah, definitely a tough race. I think Qatar definitely sets the benchmark for tough races, but it's tough around here. You know, you got to concentrate all the time. Even for me in the last sort of 15 laps, you know, I didn't really have any cars around, but just keeping your concentration is not that straightforward around here. So it's definitely one of the toughest of the year with all the high-speed corners and the walls, but I am glad to say not the toughest race of my career.
Oscar, thank you very much indeed for your time. Congratulations, P4. Brilliant points from McLaren and Lando in there as well. Thank you very much. Safe travels to Australia. We'll see you there.
Thank you. Maybe one more time.
Thank you, Jack.
Good stuff. Thank you, Jack. Hold that thought. We are now going to hear from Lando Norris in the media pen
Oh,
with Mike
Lando
Seymour.
Norris!
So Lando, you and Lewis went very long into the race on a different strategy there. So how do you reflect on that and how the race as a whole panned out for you?
Yeah, I mean, we took a little bit of a gamble to try go along on the mediums and hope there was a safety car or something, but it never came. So we gave it a good shot. We could have just boxed in the beginning with everyone else, but I thought we'd try something a little bit different, and could have worked. It didn't, but that's how it is sometimes. So I'm happy. I think the performance of the car was good. In the end, yes, I think we missed out on a couple points from my side, but we did what we could with the strategy that we chose to do, so I'm happy with that.
And the weekend as a whole, how are you feeling about McLaren's pace relative to your rivals so far this year?
It's the same as Aston, same as Mercedes, Red Bull and Ferrari quite a long way ahead. That's it.
Thanks, Lando.
Yeah, P8 for Lando Norris, then P4 for his teammate Oscar Piastri, and Lando just unable to get to terms with P7 Ollie Behrman, the teenager in for Ferrari. But there was sort of drama from the start for Lando Norris, or so it seemed to us. Anyway, Sam Collins, Alex Brundle are in the studio to talk through a race a bit full of penalties.
Man, that's weird. Man, he did it really good. Jump the start and don't even get punished by it.
Yeah, it very much was. Lando Norris, I think he got away with it a bit, to be honest, at the start of this race, because we were surmising in commentary so much about whether this was a jump start or not for Lando Norris. Two regulations here, Sam. Cars have to be, firstly, within the box of the start, and secondly, immobile while the lights are red, don't they?
That's right. There's a bunch of regulations going on. So up to 48.1A, I think it is, you're not allowed to be moving when the lights go out. Alex, I'm pretty sure he was moving when the lights went out. You also have to be in the correct starting position when the lights go out. You can see Oscar Piastri on the right-hand side of the screen there, clearly, on your left-hand side of the screen, you can see he is inside that white line box. Well, we've gone and had a look at this, and we think that Lando Norris was also inside the white box. So he gets away with that bit of the regulation, but the regulation here, Alex, is so clear.
Yeah, it's Article 48A. It's dealt with the timing loop, which is in the track, and also the transponders in the car. I cannot believe he's got away with that one, to be honest. Nothing against Lando. He gave us a great race after that. But it was the beginning of a string of kind of interesting calls throughout the race, wasn't it?
It certainly was, Alex. But I think that on the Lando one, I think the reasoning, the only rationale I can come up with why the FIA didn't issue a penalty for that, I had to wind back all the way back to the 2019 season and look at a similar situation with Sebastian Vettel at the start of the Japanese Grand Prix, where the FIA didn't issue a penalty. I think it's because he stopped the car fully but got back going. That's not what the regulations say, but I think that's how they've been applied in this case.
So then a string of 2 penalties for Kevin Magnussen. Let's go for the Albon squeeze first. We've already heard from Alex Albon on the show.
Oh my god. Yeah, this we should celebrate. Sure.
Oh, but for me, that was a 10-second penalty for Kevin Magnussen. Now, I get it. It's Albon, we've already heard, thinks it's a racing incident. For me, not a 10-second penalty there for Kevin Magnussen. What do you think?
Well, I thought at first, yeah, look, it's a clear penalty. It's avoidable contact. You should get a penalty for that. That's the rules. I went back and checked all the avoidable contact penalties for the last couple of seasons. Every time it was a 5-second penalty. So why was it 10? we've yet to find out.
For me, remarkably close to a racing incident. Stewards have more angles and information than us. Kevin Magnussen again with another 10-second penalty. Again, this one potentially harsh. I can see why it's been given. Over the road and wide in turn 22, past Yuki Tsunoda. Leaves the track, gains an advantage, yes, slam dunk, but 10 seconds, is there precedent for that?
There is precedent for a penalty for this. He's clearly off the track, and the precedent is 5 seconds.
Yeah, one we haven't yet seen, Lando Norris.
The new rules.
This one will be investigated after the race and is being investigated right now.
Right now at race control, this is going on. We're riding with Lando Norris, come down the pit lane just before the race starts, so cars coming out, and there's Yuki Tsunoda. But Alex, you and I have spotted something here, because this is something we didn't pick up on the live, but keep an eye on this mechanic here. He tells Tsunoda to stop, and he doesn't give him the indication to come out on track and go and join the pit lane. Tsunoda keeps driving despite the mechanic's hand signals to say, don't drive forwards. There's a McLaren coming your way.
So it's definitely been a busy day for the stewards, Laura. Some decisions we get, some decisions we don't get, but there we go. It was a day full of penalties over there in Saudi.
Yeah, absolutely was. Stewards kept very busy indeed, except for that start for Lando Norris. How did you see that one, Jack?
Which one?
Sorry, the Lando Norris jump start that wasn't, or maybe was.
Yeah, you know, it's strange. I didn't know there was much grey area in a jump start. I can understand potentially the reasoning of you're stopping the car fully before continuing, but if the article says that you cannot be moving while the light goes out, then typically you'd think that that would be a penalty, but potentially overlooking it, maybe it wasn't the biggest thing going on at that point in time, and typically if they'd have waived it before like they did with Sebastian Vettel in 2019, then potentially they wouldn't want to go against the previous outline that they'd made before, so I can see how that's maybe been waived.
Well, we're going to look at the Stroll crash now. That was the moment that brought out the safety car, which then saw...
And made the race so boring. Nothing happened. Oh shit.
Flurry of early pit stops. This is it, Jack. Talk us through this. I mean, we know this track can bite if you get things millimetres wrong.
Yeah, to be honest, when I saw that he'd gone into the wall at that point and not really the exit of 23 where it could look like if you lost the car, I knew he must have clipped the inside wall to go straight into the wall at that point. And it's so weird. We were speaking about it, you know, earlier on in the weekend, that the walls here on some parts of the track are like 50-cent coins. They kind of are not round like the guardrail into the chicane, into the swimming pool chicane at Monaco, or like we have at turn 9 here. It steps out, so your initial reference of turning in, the wall might then jump out at your next side that you can see, and so to be millimeter close, it's just so difficult. And the contact, to be honest, isn't even that hard, but just at that angle, hitting the tyre at that point, it's just caused the upright to brake and go straight.
A glancing blow and race over for Lance Stroll. That then brought out the safety car. As I say, a flurry of pit stops came in, a very busy pit lane. We're seeing some of the repercussions of that with the penalties coming for unsafe releases as well. It also meant that Mercedes then offset their strategy. Lewis Hamilton staying out, George Russell pitting. Mercedes not able, though, to just move up the field with Lewis Hamilton staying out on that medium and then pitting onto the soft with tyre deg not being as bad as anybody thought. How did you see Mercedes splitting that strategy and indeed their high speed seeming to be a bit of a thorn in their side?
Yeah, strange on the high speed side of things. To be honest, you know, not being a part of it or in the loop too much, it's hard to say really why that is. However, the strategy call, splitting the two cars, okay, you know, you avoid any difficulties that might come from on track, you know, on-track battles or whatever, but also it's free track position around a street, high-speed street circuit, which has a very high chance of safety car. So having to actually force everyone onto a two-stop would be very high once you're 30 laps deep on that hard tyre. So it seemed like potentially a good call for Lando, for Lewis, even for Joe, who was sitting back in P10 for quite some time. But unfortunately, that safety car when you want it sometimes just never seems to come, and they unfortunately had to make that late pit stop. And to be honest, for me, it was even looked like it was a little bit too early, with, you know, the hopes to catch Behrman and get P7 and P8. 12 laps for me was just a bit too much of a stretch on the soft tyre that always doesn't seem to work too well here.
And George Russell wasn't quite able to get up to terms with Fernando Alonso either. Let's hear it from him now.
So George, P6 at the end of that one. Can I get your reflections on tonight's work?
P6. Yeah, behind McLaren, Aston Martin.
The reflection was just seeing Fernando's backside the whole race, which was, I think I was between 1.1 and 1.6 for 40 laps, so that was a little bit frustrating. When he went quicker, I followed him. When he went slower, I followed him, and I just couldn't get any closer. So that was, long afternoon. Contrasting feelings compared to yesterday. We need to understand where the car's at and what we need to improve from Melbourne.
2 races into the season, can I just get your thoughts on where Mercedes sit in the pecking order and the work ahead the next couple of weeks before we head to Australia?
Right now we're fluctuating in performance quite a lot. We've seen potential in the car.
The Arc'teryx Beta made better. Do it all waterproof jackets. Now with
Go away.
But unfortunately, these last 2 weekends we haven't really shown it when it's mattered, so we need to understand why that is and what we need to do. But as we've seen, it is very close between ourselves, McLaren, Aston and Ferrari. We just need to be on top of it.
Yeah, close. Not in the race.
Well, we've suddenly been joined by a huge amount of media surrounding
Oliver
us.
Behrman, hi.
A man who has had a dream debut for Ferrari, a teenager scoring points in Formula One, has just joined us now. Ollie Behrman, take a bow. Does it get any better than that? I know you'll say yes, because you probably want to be on the podium, knowing your ambition. But how good was that?
Yeah, it was a great race. I think we managed everything pretty well. Was a bit unfortunate with the safety car. It didn't play into our hands, but that stinted the end on the hard, especially in the final laps when I had the guys on soft behind. It was flat out. It was like quali lap after quali lap, which was really fun.
How stressful was that, both mentally and also physically on the body as well on a circuit like this?
I think when I saw them on the screen that they were pitting, so I knew they were coming out and I knew they would be on at least a medium or a soft, at least a faster tire. And I could see them on my dash coming quite quickly. But then the gap started to stabilize, and from there basically when they left the pits I was like, okay, I basically accepted that they were going to come by at some point. And then at some point they started to slow down and then eventually stabilize. So it wasn't that stressful, but the last 3 laps, took a bit more margin to the walls, let's say.
And it's Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton chasing you down as well. Not too shabby drivers, are they?
Yeah, I think they were fighting, which helped me out a little bit. And I don't know if the soft was performing as they expected, because they weren't actually that quick at the end. But yeah, it was interesting.
I think coming into the weekend as an F2 driver, and then all of a sudden Saturday morning, F1 driver, not only for, I don't want to say a lower team, but for Ferrari, how was that sort of waking up and all of a sudden being like, okay, I'm not hopping into the Formula 2 machinery, not only hopping into an F1 car, I'm hopping into a Ferrari.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure, of course, especially from Fred. The walls are close here and he wanted me to bring back the car with 4 wheels still on it. You saw my dad through the race.
He's
probably.
been through the ringer, your dad.
Your dad was more on screen than Max.
He's felt,
and me, probably.
He's felt every emotion of that.
I think he's more famous than me after this weekend, but no, it was tough, I woke up on, I get mixed up with the days now.
Oh,
but
it's not Saturday, is it? Today's Saturday.
Saturday.
Friday.
Friday morning, yeah.
Friday.
Whatever it is, but sprint race in F2. Got the call about 2 hours before FP that I was going to be jumping in the car, so I had to quickly run and get some stuff from F2 and head to F1. Luckily, I didn't really have a lot of time to kind of get nervous because, I was pretty much straight on it. But
See,
no, it was
everything
cool.
felt good,
Yeah,
jumping straight in.
It doesn't feel good now, to be honest. But, those things you kind of have to adjust after you've driven in it. And I did the seat fit, it felt fine, but when you drive, especially on a track like this, I think I'll feel it in the morning.
Yeah, physically, what is sore right now? What is painful? Talk us through it, because I'm a mere mortal.
It's better to say what isn't sore.
Okay, what isn't sore?
Nothing. No, it was tough, and I'm quite tall, so I struggle a little bit to fit perfectly in the car. My back hurts a little bit, and especially my shoulders as well.
Little pokes that you didn't feel during the seat fit.
Exactly.
Now
it feels good, but then when you really get the G-force, that's when it starts to hurt. I'm quite skinny, especially here, so it hurts. But luckily I don't have to do any more F1 at this stage, so I'll be able to recover.
Not at this stage, but my goodness me, if you put yourself in a shot window, Ollie Behrman, you were already being talked about in the driver market for 2025. I think you've put yourself in very good stead now. Julian Palmer saying he is sure you'll be in a seat for next year. What do you make of this? I mean, look at the media attention around you. So much pressure heaped on your young shoulders, just 18, but it's looking good, isn't it?
Yeah, I hope he's right. I think I executed a good race today. My only regret is that I was a bit inefficient trying to pass Nico, because honestly I was in a faster car and I should have overtook him more quickly, but he used his experience well to use the battery in the right places, and it took me a couple shots. The problem is when you drain the battery trying to overtake and you don't get it done, you have to wait a couple laps to recharge. And yeah, that lost me a lot of time to the guys ahead. After that, the gap stayed pretty similar, but yeah, lost a bit of time there, but overall I was pretty happy.
It's all part of the learning, and I'm sure you've learned an enormous amount. Thank you so much, Ollie, and congratulations on a brilliant debut. Pleasure
Thanks.
to see you here. Thank you, Ollie. Oh, and also you're P10 in the driver's standings in Formula One right
It's
now.
better than F2.
There you go.
F2 I'm last.
Oh no! I know, and you missed out on any points today after getting pole as well.
Yeah, exactly. I'm doing a 12-round championship in F2 rather than 14, so that's going to be tough. But let's see what we can do.
Yeah, we'll see. Thank you. Best of luck in F2, and I'm sure we'll see you again soon.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you to Ollie Bearman. Let's take a look then at those driver standings with the news that Oliver Bearman has stepped straight up in 2P number 10. Max Verstappen leading the way. Sergio Perez P2, Charles Leclerc.
Jag menar, Lucas Lewis Hamilton. 8 points. And here we Oliver Bearman 6 points.
P3, George Russell P4, Oscar Piastri
So fucking
P5,
beautiful.
Carlos Sainz still up there despite that appendicitis. We wish him well. Unbelievably, he is here in the garage watching that
No
race
shit.
after having an operation yesterday. Fernando Alonso, some good points today for him. Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton, and then Oliver Bearman rounding out the top 10.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool, right? What
cool
are
to
your
say.
experiences with Ollie, racing with him, against him, seeing him within a paddock?
Yeah,
Oh,
You know, I
yeah.
raced him last year in Formula 2. He's a,
This
ended
will be made.
as the top rookie, quick guy all year round. Coming into this year's second year in F2, he was clearly the favourite, and they didn't have quite a strong first round. But then he's came in, put it on pole, thinking that he's going to redeem that, and it seems like he got even more redemption and got a shot in Formula 1. So there's the highs of trying to potentially win a Formula 2 championship, but getting your first go in a Formula 1 car in Ferrari. So I'm sure he's not going to be thinking about that, and it's probably now tonight when he's looking forward to Melbourne. Now he'll be back in the F2 and switching those thoughts. But yeah, he did a great job this weekend, and regardless of where Formula 2 finishes, he's proven that he's quick enough to race in.
Yeah, that was something special today
have
from Ollie
that on
Bearman for
me.
sure. We're now going to throw to Ariana Bravo. She is roaming the paddock for us and has caught up with, I'm sure, a very proud Fred Vasseur.
Ad time.
Joining me now is Fred Vasseur. Fred, solid day for Ferrari. How are you feeling after that one?
It was a good one, and that for Charles and for Oli, that both did a good job. And it was important for us that we had a chaotic weekend, that Thursday was very difficult for us with Carlos.
Oh,
and so that
yes,
and
no
when
blocks.
we call on the last minute Oli, that I was not so optimistic. At the end, he did a fantastic job, Charles also. And at the end, it's a good weekend for the team.
Fantastic weekend. Ollie really pushing there towards the end to keep that gap to Lando and Lewis. I mean, we heard on the radio the engineers being, just enjoy it, don't take it too much, it's fine. But he really wanted this, didn't he? How impressed are you?
I think for an English driver to have Norris and Hamilton behind you, it's a good one.
It's the best one, and to keep them behind.
Yeah, no, but I was a bit balanced on the in the radio between push because it's manageable and avoid a mistake. But at the end, that on the data, he didn't do a single mistake all the race. It means that we were quite relaxed, even if it's I don't know if it's possible when you have a rookie into the car. But we were quite relaxed, and he did very, very well.
He did indeed. And just a word on Charles' race as well. First podium of the season. Fantastic result for him.
Yeah, good, but we have to be focused on Red Bull. They are still a step ahead of us. In quali, we are not that far away. In the race, that it's a bit more difficult, but I think we struggle a lot when we were at the beginning on the dirty air. As soon as we are able to be P3 and to have clean air, that we are perhaps 4, 5 tenths slower, but it's still a gap. But we have to continue to push to be able to do a step, to put them under pressure. and it will be the best way to get
Well,
them.
very well done on a great result today, and eyes ahead to Australia. Thank you, Fred.
Thank you.
As ever, great to hear from Fred Vasseur, and he has got some talent in that Ferrari Driver Academy with Ollie Behrman, and of course Charles Leclerc as well, with his first podium of the season. He said it was a bit of a boring race because he couldn't get up in front, but kept everyone else behind, but secured some valuable points for Ferrari. And of course, we wish Carlos Sainz all the best in his recovery. We'll see when he'll next be in a Formula One car, probably Australia. You can see, though, we have F1 Academy drivers Chloe Chambers and Abby Pulling with us. If you haven't yet heard the news, earlier on,
I'm not.
Dorian Pin did win the F1 Academy race 2, but she took another lap after the checkered flag at pace, not knowing she had already taken the checkered flag. She has had a 20-second penalty for that. Abby Pulling finished the race less than 2 seconds behind her by my maths. That makes Abby Pulling the winner of race number 2. And when I said, Abby, how are you doing? You croaked at me because you've lost your voice. You've been celebrating. I know it's not how a driver wants to win a race, and I know you want to do it on track at some point this season, but talk me through your reaction to this.
Yeah, I mean, I ran straight back to Road Motorsport over in the support paddock, and I'm over the moon. Obviously, like I say, I don't want to win races like that, and I think we've put the pressure on all weekend, so it's nice to get some look after last year, but yeah, I'm happy. It's the points at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And Chloe, for you today, a P10. Talk us through your race and where you feel some improvements can be made heading into the next rounds.
Yeah, I mean, it's super great to be here racing on the F1 calendar with F1 Academy. Obviously, having the support of the MoneyGram Haas F1 team is super special, and
yeah, MoneyGram.
yeah, I'm super glad to be racing here, just gaining experience as the season goes on. You know, I think this weekend I really kind of showed my pace. Obviously, a couple of unfortunate penalties in the second race bumped me down to P10, but I finished P4 yesterday, so I think that was a really good showing, and I'm looking forward to improving for the rest of the season.
How good is it, how valuable the lessons learned from being involved in a Formula One team? For all three of you, we've got 2 in the Alpine Academy here, and of course Chloe with the Haas team, and a great showing from them today as well, with a point in the Formula One Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like, I mean, I watched the Formula One race from the Haas garage, and that's something I've never done before, and it's just invaluable to get that kind of experience, be able to see what happens during the race, hear all the information that the drivers get, and just, you know, use it for my future as well.
I do have a question to both of you guys, and you know, Jeddah, unforgivable, especially, you know, as well. You had a couple of days testing here, but still, that doesn't change the fact that it's an extremely difficult circuit. And I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, have you guys drove on a street circuit before?
I'm very fortunate that I have, and we both raced together.
We both have, but okay, regardless, how did you find it, you know, going forward the rest of the season? Would Saudi be one that you're looking forward to coming back to?
I mean, this track, like you say, it's unforgivable, and I think it's just something that I love as a driver. You know, the tight, fast corners, it's just so much fun, and it makes for some great racing, and I could drive this circuit for the rest of my life, honestly. Like every lap you're finding a little bit more and a little bit more, but yeah, I don't know how you found it, but it's a good one.
I mean, honestly, the track was really good for racing. There was a lot of action during the races. I mean, I even went back and watched the race 1 replay from yesterday, and I was entertained a lot, even though I was in the race. But yeah, I mean, I could race on this track forever, like Abby said. I mean, you know, we should do like an endurance race here.
Oh my goodness me, it terrifies me watching, so you guys are a different breed. But ladies, thank you both very, very much. Well done this weekend. Congratulations, our winner, P4 and a P10 for you, Chloe. A brilliant start as well. And I can't wait to see how F1 Academy continues to thrive through this season. Thank you both so much. Let's take a look at the calendar for F1 Academy to see where we are off to next. Of course, all 7 rounds aligning with the F1 calendar. So the next stop, the United States, Miami, 3rd to the 5th of May, and then we're heading to Spain, the Netherlands, that's in August, Singapore in September, Qatar in December, and Abu Dhabi, a double header to round out the year.
I mean, I would say I still watch Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3, so
for our F1 Academy.
Probably not.
Jack, you made me laugh there because you answered Producer Joe out loud on the show rather than in your head.
No, I just wanted to make it clear.
I do have a question. I really appreciate that.
I just thought in my head, I'm like, I do have a question. and I wanted to make that clear.
Producer Joe appreciated your sass as
Exactly.
well. That you fired straight back. How much have you enjoyed F1 Academy and indeed working with athletes like Abby Pulling too? She's a fantastic driver.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think, you know, I was looking and sort of appreciating how actually good these girls are. You know, Dorian's done amazing things in the World Endurance Championship. Maya Wade was behind Abby, been racing, you know, against an Italian F4 and doing really good results as well. So to see, you know, how tough it really is and see sometimes the gaps that they put over each other and you sort of, I sit back and appreciate and I go, no, that's, you know, she's done a really good lap or really maximized that, which is really cool. And I just got really jealous because I saw that I think they'll be going to Miami.
They are going to Miami,
Which, yeah, is awesome. I really, really look forward to driving that circuit in the near future. But yeah, they've got a great first 2 rounds to their F1 Academy season.
Yeah, for sure. And Singapore, I think Abby Pulling will certainly like that one. Just worth noting as well that it must be absolutely gutting for Dorian Pin after 2 pole positions, a win yesterday and the win today, almost a clean sweep of the whole weekend, and then just either a radio miscommunication or simply her head down, full focus, unaware of what was actually going on in terms of the laps and taking that second lap after the checkered flag.
Yeah, as we were speaking with Nico earlier, it requires full focus around here and to be completely locked in, and clearly she'd done that all weekend from FP to qualifying, like you said, race 1. You know, Abby had gotten close, very close over points of the weekend, but Dorian seemed just to have this place, you know, dialed in, her and her Prema car. And yeah, potentially she was just so locked in that radio miscommunication, whatever it was, she didn't see that first checkered flag. And yeah, it's very unfortunate, not a way you want to lose a result, but unfortunately there's times like these where rules are put in place for a reason, but I'm sure it won't affect her season. I hope too very much, but very crucial points lost.
Yeah, she did say on the team radio at the end of that race, why didn't you tell me? So I think some work to do within the team there to ascertain exactly what went on and what went wrong for Dorian Pin.
Man, sometimes never lucky.
But the win going to Abby Pulling in race 2 here this weekend. 1 apiece. I think we could see that fight going on each and every round this season. We're going to head to Julien now. I hear he's found some tyres. Julien.
Tires.
Okay, here we are here with the mechanic of Mercedes. So basically what they are doing there, they are removing each wheel nut of the tires, basically, because you have to understand that in F1, the nuts is basically floating into the rim, basically. You can see, here is going to remove it. There we go. So they remove it, it's properly, it's not stuck, it's like floating on the rim, and that allows the mechanics basically during the pit stop to do a quicker pit stop. The problem of that, as we have seen with Haas today, if this nut is not aligned properly, basically
with Haas? What?
On the
hub,
on the wheel hub, and it's slightly tilted. Basically, what happens is that hey, you have a very bad pit stop, and you cannot remove the wheel. The only way to remove the wheel, this wheel nut, is as these guys are doing. Basically, you have to put on this tray using this big gun, and then removing this nut. And you can see, if you come with me, I show you the wheel nut. You see all these Swiss nuts in F1, they are very, very precious. They are actually very, very expensive. You see, actually, it's quite hot still. So this is how basically we have to remove this wheel nut in F1.
Thank you so much, Julia. Jack and I just laughing. I've written down here, Alonso must be delighted to be in P5, and I'm not sure if we know he is or not. I haven't heard his post-race interview, but I'm figuring...
You're hoping he's delighted?
I think he must be. For the Astons to have kept the Mercedes behind, it's a much better weekend, a much better outlook for them than P9 and P10, so I think that was a great race for Alonso.
I think it's a great race. Looking back to last year, he was obviously on the podium, but considering the situation that they've been in coming into this season, for sure, he's delighted with P5. Let's hope that he is, so that he doesn't come storming up and get us in trouble for that. But yeah, you know, he had a few close moments, brushing the wall in turn 9. Yes. It didn't seem like it really made too much of an issue, or luckily no damage, so that was okay. But yeah, it's those moments where you really are trying to find those very small margins where Jeddah bites, and luckily he got away with it.
Speaking of damage, someone's just smashed something over our shoulder there. Everyone is okay though, no problems. I am hearing from producer Joe, Alonso was in fact fairly happy.
Fairly happy. So not really delighted, but he's fairly happy. It's Fernando Alonso, you know, world-class racer, world champion. He's not going to ever, I don't think, be delighted from P5, but for sure, nevertheless, inside and in that team briefing, they'll be happy to skewer 10 points this time.
Definitely. Let's look at the top three then.
damn it.
Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc. I think a podium that many would have predicted and
it's a shame.
expected coming into this weekend. I think actually Julien in our pre-race show predicted this exactly. What do you make of the performance of Charles Leclerc? He was saying post-race that he found that quite boring because he was, I think, in a world of his own, not quite up to the Red Bulls, but had kept the others at bay behind.
Yeah, I think a similar situation like we were saying before with Nico, sort of being in your own race. You know, Max faces it 24 rounds a year. Yeah, probably something that they weren't entirely expecting. I think Charles would have hoped that he could maybe challenge Checo a little bit more. And even on lap 2 of the Grand Prix, it seemed like Charles was actually staying almost around that 1 second gap to Max, which usually he's 2 to 3 seconds down the road by that point. And I saw one green sector a few tenths quicker than Max, but Max immediately rebounded and sort of set off into the distance. And a lap later, Checo was past him. So, yeah, you know, he's going to be happy with the first podium, but I don't think he's so happy just to where that, how far away Red Bull are. And at this point in time, but you know, it's round 2, so much more to come, but definitely not unpredictable podium.
Yeah, Charles Leclerc with the fastest lap as well, so some hope for Ferrari. There is pace in that car, but still the gap to Red Bull can... Goodness me, this paddock is being torn apart around us. The gap to Red Bull yet to be reached. Let's get to the schedule before our desk is taken away.
Oh, Australia.
Here we go then.
Then
It's
Japan
Australia.
and then
Next
China.
up, I bet Jack Doohan's very excited about that one. We will have our weekend warm at 7 p.m. track time. We'll on the
Oh,
Friday. Yes, we're
is
back
it
to a
on
normal
the table,
schedule.
so-
We'll all understand what day it is now. Friday, we will have FP1 at 12:15. That's when we're on air building up to our
Yes.
FP1 show. FP2 will begin our coverage at 3:45 p.m. and FP3 on the Saturday. Again, 15-minute build up ahead of a 12:30 third hour of running. Qualifying, we have our pre-quali show. That will be at 3:30 p.m. on Saturday ahead of 4 p.m. qualifying. And then the race. We're back to daytime racing now, 2 p.m. on Sunday, the 24th of March, down under. I can't wait to head back to Melbourne. I think I was in an absolute daze, dizziness of jet lag last time I went. So I'm looking forward to hopefully emerging from a bit of a cloud and enjoying a bit more of it. How much are you looking forward to getting out there and seeing the track once again, getting home?
Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it. I got to experience it myself last year in F2, and to be honest, it's apart from being home race bias, you know, I really did enjoy it. It was, you know, another street circuit, also a place that has very big consequences. Of course, there is runoff. However, the curbs are brutal. There's AstroTurf right after it, and the consequences are big. We have seen some big crashes in around Albert Park, and the circuit definitely is not forgiving. But nevertheless, it is home for me as well. I get to go back for a week before the Grand
Yeah,
Prix,
see the
which is
horses.
amazing, and then heading down to Melbourne on the Tuesday. A great week
That's
of media events and to experience another round 3 with Alpine.
Will anyone close the gap to Red Bull in Australia, do you think?
It's at the moment, you know, for sure you'd want to be hopeful. Maybe small steps. Ferrari potentially were slightly closer to Checo in Bahrain, not so much to Max, but you never know what's coming and what they might be bringing to Australia. We have our first time where teams will be heading back completely to the factories, a reset, maybe a fresh new bit of ideas before Melbourne, where hopefully they can do something. Try to get between the two and alter the strategies and maybe bring in something special to maybe even get a double Ferrari podium.
Oh, we'll see. Thank you so much,
Nothing
Jack,
improved.
for all of your insight on this post-race show. It's been a busy one. We've had plenty of drivers on. Thanks to Ariana Bravo, to Mike Seymour as well, asking questions in the media pen to each of our 20 drivers. So Max Verstappen takes his 9th win in a row, his 2nd of the season, and another Red Bull 1-2 with Charles Leclerc rounding out the podium here at the Jeddah Corniche circuit for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. We will see you all in a few days down under in Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix. Thank you for
days.
watching. Bye for now.
Many days.
Welcome to Melbourne.
Yeah, that was the last thing I thought I could maybe be watching, but yeah, the biggest thing was the prediction from P1, and that was, yeah, something. Yeah, So Andy's here. And tomorrow will maybe be more Formula 1 or